Hi everyone, welcome to the Game on Oz PAX panel here today. I am Str8JaktJim and we're joined by Natty up the top here,
Hi.
Rogue to my left, and
Hi.
Pete up the top left here.
What's happening, you
That's
legends? Hello.
it. And we're here today to tell you that it's okay just to game. Because that's what it is. Like, we've all play games to have fun. That's what we want. We don't want it to stress us out, and we want the challenge, but we want to have fun at the same time. And that's become a bit of our mantra here at Game on Oz, because we want to make sure that we're having fun. That's why we do it. And before we jump into everything and just talk about how we do that here at Game on Oz, want to just throw up to Pete quickly to talk about where the idea came from.
Yeah. Oh God, it's the whole, it's okay to just play, was something that sporadically came to mind. However, I feel like it's been there for quite some time. And the reason being is because, we've all been a part of this space in a working capacity for, years now, in our various different ways that we go about doing it. And we would all see over the course of that time the sheer litany of tweets from friends of ours in the industry that are basically, I'm taking some time off social media, I'm having anxiety. Why is it that I've been streaming for 3 years but I only ever have 2 viewers? Why can't I be the next Dr. Lupo or whoever it happens to be? I'm no good. I'm never going to get into esports. I'm this and I'm that. And I myself have been guilty of that. And, we'll talk about that later on in the show. But it was basically a moment where I'd seen that much of it and kind of had a thought one day where I was like, what got us here in the first place? And what actually got us here in the first place was our love for games and our love for the story, and our love to immerse ourselves in those games and play through those stories in a way that you can't if you don't play video games, and, to have fun with friends and all that sort of stuff. And I just sort of stripped it all away and went, God, you know what? It's okay to get up today and just pick a game and just play it for the sake of playing it. Not feeling like I have to stream it, not feeling like I have to write about it, not feeling like I have to tell the Twitterverse or Instagram or whatever and all my friends that I'm playing this today, and make sure that I tag every publisher or developer behind the game to make sure that they know that I'm playing it today, in the off chance that they might see it and retweet it. And I say off chance, like very rare chance that might be the case. So that's basically where that came from.
That's it. And I think we all suffer for that, particularly in our space, as like myself and Rogue being content creators, Pete being in that space, and Natty being the writer as well. When it comes to reviews and things like that, there is that pressure to get through the game, and sometimes you just want to enjoy a game. Like, I know myself, like, there are games that I'll go, I want to play that on stream, but there are games that I'll just go, I just want to get lost in this world. I don't want to have to worry about chat and looking engaged and talking to people, and I just want to take a break, take a step back and enjoy the game. And because that's what we do it for. We want to have fun. We want to make sure that we're looking after ourselves as well, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's a hobby that's turned into something more than that will hopefully be a career path one day. Well, it is a career path, that's the way we're moving, but it needs to be sustainable as well, and we need to find ways that we can cope with that. And I know for myself, one of the ways I do that is I'll pick a game that I will just play offline, and if I find it amazing, then I'll probably do a tweet or something about it saying, oh my God, I love this game so much. But other than that, I'll just be radio silent with it and just enjoy it for what it is.
Coming from the writing perspective, I do feel a lot of pressure that I have to finish a game in a certain period of time, and I have to race to get the finish. And quite often I'll pull that into the rest of my gaming, even though I don't want to. So I'll pick up a 80, 90, 100-hour JRPG and want to know the fastest way through the game, what's the most optimal path I can take, and it completely ruins it, right? Because you're there, you want to have fun, you want to explore, you want to take in all the new experiences without worrying about the clock. And certainly I know adult pressures are on all of us as well, which is another time pressure on us, but there's no reason to put even more pressure on yourself for any reason. At the end of the day, it's okay to just play, it's okay to have fun, and certainly don't put more pressure on yourself, especially when it's your main hobby, your main de-stress in life.
I find that as well, especially with the time restraints, and especially around content creating, because you do want to be creating content for, well, especially for me, I like to try and create content with up and coming games, and I'm a very slow gamer. Like, if there's a 20-hour game, it'll take me 50 hours to actually finish it. Like, I'm very slow at gaming, and I find
thorough. I believe it is thorough, not You want like to get everything you can out of it. Yeah.
And you're a bit of a platinum chaser too, aren't you, Rogue?
I try to be, and then I stopped because it was just too infuriating sometimes. I'm just like, once I'm done with it, I'm like, I need a new one. But trying to create content around games within a time limit can be has so much pressure as well, because especially working full time, I can't see myself staying up till like 3 a.m. playing games. Like, after work, I've got maybe 2 hours max until I'm tired, and then I've got to wait till the weekend. So it's just kind of the pressure of, like, after work, I'm like, okay, I feel like I have to play a game instead of wanting to play a game. Compared to like thinking I have to create content for a certain type of game, compared to just sitting down and enjoying a game as like the end of my day, like to relax and like de-stress.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I went through a period there where I fell into that loop as well. And this was very early on in Game on Australia's piece, when we weren't writing as many reviews, but we were doing a bit more streaming. We were starting to get into that. And I don't know if you're with us at this particular point in time. It was early on, but we just launched the Twitch channel, and we were playing a lot of PUBG. And like, we'd virtually play PUBG every night, but I felt this pressure to make sure that I was streaming it. Instead of just having a night where I was just playing with the guys. And the reason why I was feeling that pressure was because on a night where I wasn't streaming, I was thinking to myself, like, am I wasting the night by not streaming? Because I'm trying to chase the numbers, I'm trying to build viewership, I'm trying to, and if I don't stream tonight, does that mean the people that were there last night aren't going to come back because they're going to have a chance to go and find somebody else? So it caught me in that loop, Rogue, and I don't know if it's the same with you, where I just kind of started getting the feeling where if I wanted to play a game just for the sake of playing a game, I was getting to the stage where I was feeling like it was a waste of time because I should be streaming,
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I have picked up a game and I've gone to play it just not offline and like play it myself, and I'll be at the start of it, and in my head I'll be like, I should be streaming this, like I should be sharing this, I should be be going live, talking to chat, being like on and playing this game. Like that, I had that mindset at the very start of streaming. Like every game I played, in the back of my mind was like, you should be streaming this, or be streaming this, or like what you're playing right now, you should be going live. And it's like, it can get exhausting because you just like, sometimes you don't really want to talk to anyone, you don't want to be on, and you just want to literally just play. Like yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that one, because that's like, it's about part of this. It's about looking after yourself as well. And yeah, there's that pressure and that worry that if you're not streaming it, or if you're not writing a review about it, that's wasted time. But I've more and more come to think of it that if you're enjoying it and you're relaxing, it's not a waste of time. It's there. It's building you up mentally again, relaxing. Even if it doesn't have to be gaming, although we like to say it's okay just a game, even if it's just reading a book, you know, or reading the game manual if you've still got one of those around somewhere. But it's meant to relax us, and even dropping it down. Like I've always been chronic for it, where I will go, if I just want an easy time, it's going to be on normal or easy, and I just want to relax and get through the game and just kill a whole heap of things, and that just makes me, you know, just a nice relaxing time, makes you feel amazing for a bit, makes you feel like Superman, you know?
Imagine... I love easy mode.
Yeah.
Easy mode is
yeah.
the best.
Imagine, I mean, that's a great point that you make about, you know, reading a book, because imagine if we treated books like we treat playing games at the moment, right? Like where you know, I can't pick up this book right now and just read it. What I should be doing is I should be turning my camera on and trying to read it to an audience. Like that just sounds stupid, right? Like it sounds dumb, but it's a pastime. And games are a pastime. Yes, we can turn them into careers, but games are a pastime, and yeah, we need to start looking at them a little bit differently.
Definitely that productive trap, isn't it? Like getting in that mindset of every minute needing to be productive, rather than actually, no, like my time with my characters and my JRPG is my time.
Tell you what, two of the best gaming experiences I've had over the last year have both been offline, and that's been playing through Assassin's Creed Valhalla and, despite the bugs, Cyberpunk. Like, just because the world that it was in, like, you just get lost. You go from one point to the other, and there'll be this to do on the way and that to do on the way, and you'll progress the story this much, but you've played for this much. You know, it's and really, that's what I like. When it's that engrossing and involving, that's how I relax. You know, I can go in and I'll play, like at the moment, SWTOR's one of my big games, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I love it, but I also hate it at the same time sometimes, because it's an MMO and requires this big time sink to get anywhere in it. And I've sort of been avoiding that for a little bit. Like there was a seasonal event that I completed, and then just sort of went, oh, you know what, I need a break from that for a bit, and that's okay to do. Just take a break from a game, especially if it's starting to feel grindy, or it's starting to get you angry, especially. Like anger is not a useful emotion in this regard. I was about to say it's not a useful emotion full stop, but it is. It tells you a lot of things that are wrong. But if you're just trying to relax, anger is definitely not a useful emotion. So stay away from MOBAs. Yeah.
I was just about to say, sometimes I use games as a mode of safe catharsis. So I'll play a competitive game knowing that it's going to rev me up, but I need to burn off energy. Like if I've had a bad day at work. I know some people go to the gym. I go to the gym in the morning. So when it's the evening and I would like to really hit something and I can't, maybe I jump on a MOBA or jump in a game that's a bit more action orientated, just to take out some of that frustration. And it's quite good, even if it makes me angry, because then I can chill out after that. So you're always going to have, you know, different ways you engage with games, but just as long as it's something that's building you up rather than tearing you down.
Rogue, I defer to you on a point, and it's because I've seen it on your Twitter occasionally, that, you know, you'll say I'm taking a break, or you'll say that I've seen you tweet that you're suffering from imposter syndrome. You know, and like, for people who don't know what imposter syndrome is, can you explain it, for one? And for two, can you describe, you know, the feelings in the context of games and streaming that get you there?
Yeah, so with imposter syndrome, it's just kind of like, it's a lot of doubt, where you think other people have expectations of you that you're not meeting, but, you know, like at the same time you kind of know that's not actually happening, but it's like your brain is telling you that no, you're not good enough to do this. People don't think you're good enough to do this, and you can't do this in a way. So I found that with streaming, because I'm very, like, I compare myself to others quite a lot, which I'm like always trying to work on. But sometimes with the whole pressure of streaming and trying to be online and on and having those thoughts in your head all the time, it gets to the point where it's just exhausting and you don't enjoy playing the game. You start to not really enjoy streaming as it is. And that just comes in waves for me as well. So I usually I feel like when I tweet that I'm going to take a break or I'm just going to step back, it's just kind of like me putting it out in the universe, saying that I'm going to take a break. Everyone's read that, so I should now take this break instead of me saying to myself, like, one day waking up, like, I'm going to have a little break today, and then the afternoon will come around and be like, no, you're not. You need to do this, or people will not, you're not meeting their expectations. So, yeah, I take quite frequent breaks because it gets to the point where it just gets a bit too much. So, yeah, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, that's okay. Because once I do take that break, I kind of reignite that love for gaming as well, because then I'll go to play something that is just for me, not for everyone else. And that is what kind of starts the flame again. And then that's when I shift back into streaming, because I'm back in that mindset where I love it again. And I love video games and I want to share it with people.
Yeah. And look, at the heart of content creation, that is what it is. You know, I like one thing that's I've learnt over the course of a career in radio, and I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because the context is, it's really strong for something like this. And that is, a while ago I was sitting with he's the chief content officer for the Triple M network. So, for people watching this, if you're outside of Australia, Triple M's it's a big radio station that it's a big radio network that's comedy, sport, rock, blokey kind of things. And it's got various stations across the country, and he runs the whole network. He's at the top of the tree. And he was over here in Perth, and this was early on in my career in terms of me starting to get into and do shows and really start to do content. Because when you're a daytime announcer and you're doing music, you talk for 5, 10, 15 seconds at a time. It's content, but it's not to the degree where you're telling stories about your life like in a breakfast show that I do now. And we sat across from each other, and he said to me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be famous. I want to be rich. I want to be Perth's Eddie Maguire. And he said to me, you're going to fail. And I said to him, why? And he goes, because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And I bring that back to content and streaming, because I really, and again, this comes back to why, we've pushed that message. It's okay to just play, and particularly to our younger audience, because I want kids to grow up having the same love for video games that got us to where we are now. And because that's where, at the heart of that's where your best content lies, when you're genuinely passionate and having a great time. And he said to me, the reason why you fail is you're doing the wrong reasons. If you're doing it to make a shit ton of money, and you're doing it because you want to be famous, it's not going to work. You need to do it because you genuinely love creating content, and you genuinely love the product, and you love what it is that you're doing, and you love getting it out there. And it's intrinsic in you. It's from the heart, because that's where the most passionate, organic, and best stuff comes from. And so I shifted, my vision of what it is that I wanted to achieve. And instead of wanting to be rich and famous, I shifted to, I want to do great content. And I don't care what I earn, I'm just going to see where it takes me. And that's where my content really started to fly. And along with that came, I don't give a shit who's watching. I don't care how many people are listening. I don't this, I don't that, because I just want to do this content for me. And that's where it started to really come from. That's where I found my best. Yeah.
I think that's key right there, is that you have to make the content for yourself. Because it's a tip that a lot of new streamers get, is turn off your view account and pretend that you're streaming to 100 people. And that's what you need to do, because whether you got no viewers or whether you got 100 or you got 1,000 viewers, the content should be you. It should be what you want. And if you're not enjoying what you're doing, it's going to show through. And that's why you do need to take those breaks. You need to rest and recharge. You need to rethink your strategy. And I know myself, when I started out streaming, I really loved the Mario community. So I was playing Mario Maker. And I tell you what, that game gets old very quickly if you're not finding new levels to play. And it's why a lot of Mario Maker streamers ended up moving into, there's a whole realm called Mario ROM hacks, which are like custom games made in Super Mario World. And there's a whole lot of variety there. But they also kind of move on to more variety-based streaming. And I found that's where what I do fits best, because then I'm playing the games that I like, and it's not such a chore to go, all right, well, what am I going to play today? Let's do this. And that way you find that your viewers, when they do come, will be there for you rather than the game that you're playing as well. So it's a twofold thing. It keeps you interested in streaming, and it also helps build those viewers that want to be there because you're there.
Yeah, that's 100%. Like, I've never really streamed one game consistently, apart from maybe Bloodborne. On like, I played that on a certain day of the week, and I played it consistently for quite a few months. And I love the game, I really do. And I pulled in the same kind of people that returned to watch me play it. But then it got to the point where I think, personal life, real life, that starts to get a bit heavy, that's stressful. And after a stressful day, Bloodborne is not exactly an outlet for stress. I think it brings stress because it's so hard, and it got to the point where I'm like, I don't think I can consistently play this game because I'm just not in the mood to play it. Mm-hmm. I'd rather be streams a game that I'm going to enjoy and that I'm in the mood for. So say for a polar opposite, Stardew Valley, and play that instead. And when you switch that, some people don't come back, but my mood changed when playing something I've enjoyed and what I find quite relaxing compared to such a hack and slash super hard game on a stressful day. So yeah, definitely. I feel like with variety, you definitely find more enjoyment with that as well.
No, just coming to that point, I think you mentioned before about recharging and, either taking a break or for Rogue, it might be playing a different kind of game. And I think, especially for people who are trying to make streaming or other content creation their side hustle, you're working all day, so you're not necessarily getting inspiration from your daily life, and then you're expected to put out more content at night. So I think part of that recharge piece is about recharging your creative energy as well, not just your physical energy. I know if I haven't caught up with friends for a while, if I haven't gone out to do other things that aren't necessarily gaming or gaming for myself, then when I come to write, I can't seem to find the right words for things. That I know that sounds really strange, but those processes that allow you to move into that kind of storytelling and entertaining kind of side get a bit lost when you're really just focused on content 100% of the time.
Yeah, because that's what recharging does. And if you relax, then things are flowing a little bit easier, and it has benefits in not just your streaming, but in your day-to-day life. Like if you're relaxed and you're coping better, then your day job will be better. You'll probably find your home life's a bit better as well if you're having some issues there. So it's very important to have that balance, and I'm glad that people are realizing that more and more, that it's not about the 40 plus hours a week that you might put in a day job. It's not about the grind so much anymore. It's like you have to find that balance, and if you're not enjoying yourself, then there's going to be issues.
I think one of the other things as well is recognizing that social media is part of your problem.
Definitely.
Like I a lot of people look at me and like, you know, they see confidence, they see a broadcaster, they see this, that, and the other, and they go, oh, this guy mustn't have any issues. Like I've heard it plenty of times where people are like, far out, mate. How do you do it? It's insane. The reality is, like, I have my moments, and I have plenty of them, to the point where, like, a little while ago, I had to take action, and yes, honey, you can, yeah, go on, you can have that. I had to take action, and this comes back to one of the other issues that the sort of content world we find ourselves in tends to breed, and that is looking over your neighbour's fence at what they're doing too much. And as far as radio broadcasting is concerned, I've made it. Like, I'm a breakfast radio announcer in a metro market in my hometown. Like, I've got one of the very rare gigs in the country that if you're in radio, that's the one that you want.
And number one at
right?
it now, I heard too.
Well, the station's number one. Breakfast show's still 0.7 off Nova, but we're chasing them down. But my point is, and yet, I'm still looking at the gaming and esports space with jealousy at the success of some people. And that's such a dangerous precedent to set myself for a couple of reasons. And like, I'm going to be completely open and honest about this. One reason is that to cultivate a following and to grow your audience and to grow your credibility in the space and so on and so forth, you need to be cheering on the people around you and supporting them and helping to lift them. Because as you lift them, like in a breakfast radio show, a trio, when you lift your co-stars, your star rises with them. So, you should be lifting them. The other thing is, if you get caught up in what they're doing, you're not focusing on what you're doing. So a little while ago, I did an exercise where I went through and I unfollowed a shit ton of people on Twitter. And it helped because I wasn't getting that stuff in the news feed. And it allowed me to sort of reset that part of myself that was looking at them with their endorsements and their, so on and so. And I'm someone who gets endorsements and partnerships. Like, I tick that box by virtue of the nature of my day job, right? So I don't have anything to complain about. But I'm seeing that and I'm going, why are they getting? Like, why? They've got less followers than I do. They don't have as many viewers. Like, they're, and I'm still getting those feelings. So it went such a long way to resetting it because it took that off my plate and it took it out of my field of vision and it allowed me to reset. And slowly what I've been doing is I've been bringing those people back online in my social media because I've gotten much better at going, you're doing a wonderful job. I'm really happy for you. I'm going to lift you. Something that blew me away was a little while ago, I got the chance to chat to Steph Bendixson, Hex, and I mentioned that to her and she goes, oh, so did I. Now, Steph, as far as gaming creators in the country are concerned, she's at the top of the tree. She's right up there. And yet she has admitted herself openly that she also suffers from those things as well. So it is a constant affliction within our space. And to tie that back into the it's okay to just play, that comes back to, again, playing video games for the wrong reasons and losing that sense of their worth, right? So playing a video game because you want those publishers and developers to notice you, to give you endorsements and sponsorships. And maybe if you get a few of those, you'll get a few more. Rather than grabbing it and the games that you love and playing them organically and having a great time with them. And then that organic love of them shines through, and those sponsors just happen to notice how much you're loving that game. And because you're so organically passionate about it, and your content again is better for it, they go, wow, you are a genuine ambassador for this game. We are going to come along and we are going to support you and we are going to help you out. And then, you you grab that one and you do well there, and you grab a couple more along the way, and so on and so forth. It's yeah. I mean, if I was to give anybody a tip, it would be stop looking over your neighbour's fence and start looking in your own backyard.
It is a fine line to walk as well, though, because as content creators, we do want to grow, and we want that organic growth. But you are forever going to be comparing yourself to somebody else. But you're right. You need to stop saying, why don't I have what they have? And just find that right little niche where you are enjoying what you're doing. And it is a hard thing to do. It's not an easy thing by far. It's like people will try for years and years and see someone that comes along and has success in a couple of months. You know, it's and we're only human, though. The emotions will come out in stuff like that, but that's where, once again, it's okay to just play, where you'll just turn off, remember those feelings you get. Like, I can remember getting the Ocarina of Time gold cart, mum and dad driving me down to pick it up, and just sit there.
Yeah.
And you remember, Pete, you'd be with me on this one, and where you'd go down and you'd pick up the thing, and on the way home in the car, you'd be reading the manual front to back, because that's all you could do in the car. You know, you might have had a Game Boy if you were lucky, but this is what you were reading. And like that joy that you would get from those little actions, that when you finally got to plug it in. And like, I still remember, like, the jump from the Super Nintendo to the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation and those sorts of eras where games went from 2D to 3D was such a huge thing. And the marvel at the time, like, I remember we were on a family holiday over in Europe, and when the 64 came out, and we were walking through a shop, and there was a Nintendo 64 demo unit, and I sat there for what must have been half hour playing Mario 64 in German, because I just wanted it. I just loved it. And yeah, it's finding those little joyous moments, or even the stupid little things, like I think it was Halo 3 I was playing through years and years ago, and I've somehow, I don't have no idea how I managed it, but I've gotten this warthog in the air, and it started twisting, and I started going, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and it's managed to like do a complete barrel roll and then land on its tires, and I'm going, yeah, that was cool. That was cool. I love that. But
Have you all got a moment? Sorry, mate. You go.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, can we go around the table for moments like that?
Yeah, I was about to say, and that moment was just for me. There was no social media involved.
Yeah.
It was just a damn, I scored. Yeah.
Natty?
Oh, a few come to mind. So my best friend at school, she got me into gaming because she got the console, she got the PC because her dad was an absolute geek for this stuff. It's amazing for us. So I remember we were playing Theme Hospital on PC, and we would just have so much fun, like hiring the janitor that smells like cabbage, because why wouldn't you hire the janitor that smells like cabbage? Because that's just funny. But we'd also play fighting games together, and we would get pretty competitive, but it was really fun. And we would pore over the manuals where, like in the Tekken manual, they had like the blood types of the characters, and we knew all the blood types of these characters that didn't exist, that didn't impact the game whatsoever. You know, for me, social gaming has always been a big joy in my life, like playing Call of Duty and playing Halo when I was in high school and through uni as well. There'll be moments that I will remember forever, for sure. How about you, Rogue?
Okay, so I have two. So for me, for most of my childhood with gaming, it was very heavily Pokemon, where I didn't really play anything else until I got like the PS2. So my life was Pokemon. I can remember whenever I got the games, especially with like it was from Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance, and you'd have the box and you'd read the box over and over again and read the manuals. And I still remember also whenever we were playing the Pokemon games, when you play in the car at night and you have to wait till you go underneath the
Oh, you the light, the lamp, the light
the
post,
street,
yes.
street
Just like
lamp,
you play
Absolutely, yeah.
And I felt like I kind of relived that moment. Like this was probably, I don't know how many years ago, quite a while ago. I was playing Fallout 4, and I think at the time I was grinding something. I was getting collectibles, but we didn't have internet at the time. It was cut out, or I was getting works on. But I had the Fallout 4 survival guide. And I know I could have probably used mobile data, but I was like, I'm going to try this old school and look at the survival guide to try and find my collectibles with the maps and reading everything. And that was awesome. Like, I could not recommend enough if you're going to play a game, look at like the game guides or survival guides that come like that you can buy separately with games now since manuals are non-existent. But that kind of just like threw me back to when when you were playing video games where there wasn't really like that much internet presence around it, where you couldn't just YouTube a guide or look up like a trick or a hint or a roadmap or something like that. But being able to play a game and like, read like the little survival guide on where I can find things and how to do things and all that stuff. Like I found that really, really cool. And that was like a really like nostalgic moment. That was only like a few years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Pete? Yeah, it's your turn, Pete.
Well, look, you mentioned Legend of Zelda. I still remember I was down south. Do you guys have Target Country where you are?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Not in my town, but like, suburb.
Yeah, so and I don't know how many we have around Perth, like, WA anymore, but for those who don't know, Target Country is like it's virtually Target, but it's in the country. Like that's literally the cell, right?
The small hats.
You're right.
Smaller.
Yeah. We were, God, I don't know if we were in Bunbury or Bustleton or Albany or something, and it was myself and mum and dad and my brother and my uncle and aunt and, their kids and stuff. We're walking through Target Country, and we happened to walk down the Nintendo 64 section, and lined on the shelves, fresh stock in, was the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, in that gold that you were talking about before, in that gold case saying limited edition, right? And I've never told this story before, but I had played Zelda games over the years and whatnot, but hadn't been a huge mega fan. My uncle picked one up and he goes, "Oh, look, Pete, limited edition. You got to have this one." Like as if, pulling the piss. And that's what sold me on the game, right? So I was like, all right, well, I gotta have this. It took a bit of time, but I got a copy, and ended up playing it. It just turned out to be the greatest game that I've ever played, and it's my one true love. But I was literally talking about this. I was talking about this with Dan, our fellow co-host of the GOA Weekly and co-founder of GOA and whatnot. And him and I were driving out the other day to do some filming for the radio show, and we were just having a chat. And we were talking about your favorite games and the moments from those games. And for me, one clear moment that stands out was the first time Epona jumps the bridge in Gerudo Valley. And hearing the strum of the guitar for the first time,
just quietly, that is a banger track. It's
a banger track, absolute banger track. And I like that is all so clear in my mind. And I will never, ever be able to relive that moment for the first time. That's what we were talking about. If you could relive a moment for the first time in games, what would it be? That was the one. I'd never relive that moment again, but it still gives me goosebumps any time I play it. And just thinking about it and talking about it. The other one is, there's been various over the years, but the other one is the time that I beat, and I've spoken about this on the podcast before, Whiz Pig on hard mode in Diddy Kong Racing. And Christ almighty, like I spent weeks trying to knock that over. And the day that I did, I screamed that hard that mum and dad ran into the room thinking something had happened. Something was wrong. God, there's memories of, you know, all of myself with my DMG grey, my cousin Ben with his DMG red, Matt had the yellow, talking about the original Game Boys. Actually, sorry, Josh had the yellow, Matt had the clear, and us all with our connector cables on Pokemon's red and blue, trading Pokemon. You know, like this. That's the thing. And one of the things that I can't honestly say that I have had a moment like that since I started Game on Australia, because games have become about the work, not about the fun. And ever since doing this, it's okay to just play. I've actively sought an hour or two a week where I've had to set my mind to go, I'm not playing this because I've got to do work around it. I'm playing this just for a good time. And I've got 3 young kids, and one of them in particular, our eldest, is very much into video games. And so I've been taking that 1 or 2 hours a week as our opportunity to sit together and play. And I had that feeling again for the first time over the weekend. I downloaded Psychonauts 2 and flicked it on. And for the first time in a while, I was literally playing the game, enjoying the moments and the cleverness of the game, but not through the visor of how am I going to talk about this on the GOA Weekly show, or this would make a great story about, you know, mental health issues and how they're dealt with in this video game and so on and so forth. I was literally just enjoying it, you know, like just loving the fact that they've got this incredible spin on, you know, bringing thoughts together. I don't know how many. Put your hand up if you've played the game. Have you played Psychonauts 2 yet?
I played the intro to it. I actually played the intro to it on stream a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's so entertaining. It's got such a wonderful take on mental health issues and dealing with those sorts of things. But you know, there's the mechanic in it where you're able to get to places. You're able to essentially platform jump by connecting thought bubbles inside people's minds. But the way that they've done it is, you know, to unlock a new space to get to, you have to connect particular thoughts to each other so those thoughts complement each other, and you turn the negative connections into positive connections, you know, to unlock those. Right. And it's just such a wonderfully well thought out creative spin on dealing with anxiety and all of those sorts of issues, right? But like, I can sit here and I can talk about it now in that way, but at the time I was sitting there going, this is great. And one of the other cool things that happens, and I've only just thought about this, is that when you've been working in games content for a while, you learn a lot of things about how to analyze games, about how to analyze content, because, you know, you're either writing about it or you're presenting about it or you're, you know, doing your own content about it, so on and so forth. But what that in a really cool way does is it sets you up, I reckon, even better to absorb a game and how clever a game is when you just switch that part of your brain off and switch on I'm just going to play this for fun. You know, you just have a bit more of a deeper appreciation about it.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I've found that since I started doing, because I've been with GOA for about 18 months now, so not a huge amount of time really, but doing the reviews and like actually verbalizing what I'm enjoying about games has made me look for those things. And so now when I see a game trailer, I look more for, oh, that's really cool. I like that little look of the feature and how it would be a game for me. Even if something's a little bit more difficult, because like you're saying with WizPig, Pete, like we want to relax and play the way we do it, and we've talked about turning difficulty down. But if the challenge is how you relax, then there's nothing wrong with turning that stuff up to 11 and playing the Bloodborns and the Dark Souls and just going in for that challenge, because it is about that. As like, And once again, hashtag adult life, I haven't had a lot of time to sort of try and do that myself, which is why I generally play on easy or medium. But as a kid, getting gold in all the Mario Cup carts and to unlock mirror mode and then doing all that, like that was what you did. And partly because you didn't have the disposable income to go and buy more games, so this was the game you had. But yeah, that was the joy that you got out of doing that was immense. And I think if you can find a way to rediscover that, that will help your mental health to no end. It will make games more enjoyable as well, and just make your day-to-day life that much better.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you guys have any tips on how you can create those experiences, because Pete's just spoken about, you know, reclaiming his gaming time and gaming with his family and having the fortunate experience of playing a really good game at the same time. That always helps if you pick up a game that's really good. For me, when I'm planning to have me time with gaming, I need to pick a game that's got immersive story. So it's really about looking at reviews and finding something that I know is going to be my niche. And it's what you were just talking about, Jim, like having that critical analysis of skills in that we've built up, looking at games and playing so many games, that we have a bit of an easier time picking out ones we think are going to drive with us. So that's really what does it for me. Other than that, playing silly, fun games with my friends is just the best way to zone out. I've been playing a lot of Galactic Phone lately. I don't know if any of you guys know this. It is just a drawing game. You all, the first person draws something, the next person has to describe the picture, and then the next person has to use that description to draw another drawing. And so you build, like, it's kind of like Chinese whispers, but with drawing.
Yeah.
It's really, really fun. Obviously gets a bit silly depending on who you're playing with, but those are the experiences, either really in-depth story games or just surrounding myself with people that help me have a good time already and just throwing games in the mix. So yeah, I don't know if Rogue, you have, you know, any tips on how to bring back the joy into games?
I feel like I'm still kind of rediscovering that myself. So recently, when I took the first time I've been able to actually really enjoy a game like selfishly was when taking a step back from social media, where I didn't really post much for a little while. So I just was like, I just need that me time. And I'm the same. I find myself to get really lost in immersive story and open world and like just beautiful worlds in video games where I can just lose myself into that game. And that's when I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn. So I started it ages ago, and then with the pressures of releases coming out, I dropped it for another new release. So I never finished it. And playing that, like, where I just played that for me, I didn't talk to anyone, I just had that alone time. That was just like incredible, and I finished it, and it was a stunning game. And I find playing co-op with my partner has been a really like big help. We just finished It Takes Two, which is a brilliant game. I think it has to be like actually my game of the year so far.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. Which is just like, if you don't know what it is, it's pretty much a classic split screen co-op, and you adventure to try and, like, it's a married couple that goes to try and talk, like, connect with their child, but they're a little clay and a little doll, like little clay person. You play mini games, and you have to like work together to get through the different stages in the world, and it's really good. And that really, like, it just made me just really love video games again. Like Horizon Zero Dawn and It Takes Two has really just like made me want to just game for me, and it also sparked the flame for content creation too. So yeah, I feel like I'm still just rediscovering it all, but I'm getting there.
Horizon Zero Dawn is my for people who are familiar with excuse me, who are familiar with Gone in 60 Seconds, it's my Eleanor. So it's it's my dream game, but it's the one that I can't just get to. You know what I mean? So I must have started and restarted that game, I reckon, half a dozen times.
Yeah.
Because I finally get a bit of time and I go, yep, I'm here. I'm going after it. And manage to get a little bit of the way into the game and then have to put it down. And, you know, I'm not able to pick it back up for a couple of months. I pick it back up and I'm like, where am I? Where do I even start?
You just want to start again.
You need Zulu's, like, I'm an adult and I haven't played this for 3 months. Please let me know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Yeah.
Yes, no, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Far out. There was one other game that I had to Hollow Knight. I had to do that once with Hollow Knight, but I managed to get through Hollow Knight. But that was a cracker. That one almost killed me because I'd gotten probably 65-70% of the way through the game and then put it down, I reckon, for 12 months.
Oh.
And then came back to it and just went,
yeah, where do you go? What do you do?
And just had to start again. Actually, one that I enjoyed watching you stream a lot, Rogue, was Legend of Zelda. Oh God, the most recent remake on Nintendo Switch.
Skyward Sword.
No,
Link's Awakening.
Sorry, not that one. Link's Awakening.
Yeah,
Link's Awakening. And I got, I reckon I got about 80% of the way through that, and then Mila, my eldest daughter, decided to erase the save game.
Oh
no!
So you only have 2 children now, right? Yeah.
Mate. Actually, it happened with my Psychonauts file as well. Just over the weekend. So I was getting tags. Like I was 100%ing along the way. Doing a completionist run was like my first run. I was doing completionist run. I'm like, I haven't done this for a while. I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna go. And I'd gotten, you know, everything that I needed to get up until the point that I'd got to, and I came back the following day, gone.
That hurts my soul.
It hurts so much. I'm back there, but I speed ran it and managed to, like, you know, piss bolt through.
Yeah.
But far out, mate. If you have kids, hold them off from touching your games as soon as you can.
You need password protect on save data.
Oh, you do. Yep.
Yeah. Removable memory cards were just the bomb.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except
wow.
if you lost them all the time, like I did.
You know, I found. Oh, no,
Sorry,
you go. No, you go.
The best thing ever was when PlayStation actually put the memory card slot in the game case. That was revolutionary for me because I would take out my thing and put it in a safe place.
And then have to go through 10 game packs. Where's that memory card? I've seen one of these. Yes. But we're coming to the end here now. We've got probably about 7 minutes left on the clock. So want to bring it back around to it's okay to game, because we've spoken a lot about the joys that we've had of gaming and trying to rediscover that for in modern times as adults with our day-to-day life. So I guess do we have any last things that we can sort of say along those lines? Because it really is. I feel like I've repeated myself a few times about, because gaming is there for us to have fun, whether it's part of content creation or whether it's how you unwind after work. Playing how you want to play is that's it. That's all you need to do. Whether you want to put it on easy and just have a nice run through, whether you just want to have a run in Fortnite, and even if you don't know how to build stuff down, I'm looking at you. Or if you're chucking on a Bloodborne, or Fallen Order on Jedi Master difficulty, you're trying to run through it, or even speed runs of games, if that's how you relax, trying to race through and get through them quick. Just don't let anybody tell you that how you're playing the game is not the way it's meant to be played, because however you play it is the way that it should be played.
So that's a really nice note to finish on, I guess. Like, just, you know, everybody's general sort of interpretation, and I suppose if you can leave with one thought about it's okay just to play. So that's yours, Straight. Natty, what about you?
It's something that we haven't touched on yet, but probably having realistic expectations of what you can achieve in the time you have. So I'm one of those people that's like, oh yeah, I'll do my job and then I'll do my 6 side hustles and then I will keep the house tidy and I will look after everybody in my life I have to look after. And then I'll still fit in somehow 3-4 hours of games with my friends.
Yep.
Maybe consider looking at a realistic time frame for your life and what you want to get out of it. And every half-hour time block is a building block for the rest of your life. So invest in what's important, which is you.
Rogue?
I think not to feel guilty or to feel bad to take that step back and to switch off. Like, nothing is going to ruin it or change. The world is always going to keep moving, so it's not going to matter. I think, yeah, just learn to switch off, take that step back, and then focus on what you really want to do, even if it's not video games, if it's crafting, reading, gym, anything you want. It's okay to do that. Like, do not feel guilty or bad about it at all.
Yep. I suppose for me, I feel like if you're going to get into this space and you're going to make the distinction between it being a hobby and being a career, you need to have the honest conversation with yourself and set your expectations around those. So if you're happy with it being a hobby, then it's okay that you've got 1 or 2 viewers on Twitch. Like, it's okay that you stream a couple of hours a week and no more. It's okay that it fits in around everything else in your life. Not everything else in your life fits in around it. If you're going to make a career out of it, then, and look, I say this with a sprinkle of we're all working together to make something of it. But I mean, the difference is, we're a team that is many hands make light work, right? So we acknowledge the fact that this is a side hustle that could hopefully one day turn into something. But that's why there are so many of us, running in the same direction, thankfully, because that's bloody hard to find a good group of people to do that with. But we have this understanding in the team that because it is the nature of what it is, that like your home and work and family and stuff comes first. Hey, honey, speaking of family, that's my ice cream. Don't touch my ice cream. That's my ice cream. Touch my ice cream. If you are going to make a career out of it, a genuine career, then I feel like you have to go it. You have to go for it. Where, God, 10 years down the track of streaming and pro esports and so on and so forth, and I'm only talking really about Australia, and even then, it's probably a safer bet that you could actually realistically talk about it being 5 years down the track. But already in that time, we've seen so many people enter streaming and content creation. The market is so saturated. It is a tough industry. So if you want to make a go of it, you've got to go, this is my career now. Mm-hmm. And that comes with risk. That comes with risk. It comes with stress. It comes with needing to manage that sort of stuff. And so you need to set your expectations around that. So yes, have the honest conversation with yourself before you continue to move forward and support each other.
That's it. So thanks everybody for joining us for this PAX panel. I hope you've really enjoyed it. We've enjoyed putting it together. We always enjoy putting our PAX stuff together. If you want to see more of Game on Oz, we have our website, gameonoz.com, where you can read all of our awesome reviews that we put up there, as well as our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/gameonoz. Twitter, which we're very happy to say that we've recently gotten our Twitch handle updated to actually be Game on Oz instead of Game on _Oz. So you can find us there. And yeah, drop us a line, have a chat with us, come see us, and pick our brains if you want to know any more. Yeah, bye.
See ya.
Bye.